Boys, I'm sure you've heard the news. Silksong will be playable soon. Is this government propaganda to quell rising civil unrest? Most assuredly. But I do not care. For today, I will be performing a Silksong summoning ritual by 100%ing 3 of the highest quality Metroidvanias as an offering to the gaming gods. And you should do the same. Our first sacrifice is the acclaimed 9 souls. Today's story opens on our protagonist having a less than enjoyable time. But it's nothing a small catnap can't fix. 500 years later, we're back in action, having been adopted by the village orphan Schwan. We play as E, a godlike kitty cat that can materialize an ethereal blade out of thin air. We use this power to attend our adoptive father's commencement, where he gets to graduate from adolescence to heaven. Oh, for sure. We save the little fellow from his terrible fate and infiltrate the hidden base of the Solarians, where we discover our abilities of parrying and spontaneous human combustion. But most importantly, the skill tree. These little circles make my brain go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what else does that? Murder. We encounter our first boss, Red Tiger Elite. We turn Mr. Tiger here inside out, earning our first achievement and gaining access to E's base of operations, the Four Seasons Pavilion. After awakening E's sentient AI, Rui, we begin scheming our revenge. E is one of the 10 Solarians, a race of immortal furries. For his master plan, he must collect the seals of the other 9 souls through diplomacy or violence. Looking for advice, Yi, I kid you not, enters the spirit realm and speaks to his past lives, who teach us how to parry mid-air before sending us soul searching. Beginning at the Radiant Pagoda, where we can fight the first real boss, General Eng Zhao. Compared to Mr. Tiger, his attacks are slightly faster, the music is banging, and the phase transition is pretty cool. After combusting his insides, we get our second achievement, and meet E's childhood friend, Kwafu, who moves into our pavilion and becomes our weapons dealer, gifting us the Azure Bow, capable of turning swarms of enemies into mist. To get his seal, we enter the fucking Animus and hit him with the... Then we hitch a ride on a serpent ferry to the lands of Gomang, where we unlock the Great Slash, Charge Strike, capable of shattering any shield. This area ends with an unringable bell, so we go west and enter the research facility, home to the most terrifying creatures, unkillable enemies. Meaning we can't do anything here, and my tiny brain couldn't comprehend what to do next. If only I had a way to break these shielded guardians. Oh yes. It took me 45 minutes to figure that out. Then we experience whatever this is, before entering the factory. More accurately, we're just passing through, to Yen Lao's warehouse. Yen Lao is a collector, and a coward. Instead of fighting me himself, he retreats behind the super soldier, Zheng Tian, but that wouldn't stop me from getting his seal. Next, he hides in a maze, trying to kill us with traps and laser turrets. Side note, the soundtrack bangs. When we find Yen Lao, he makes the only rational choice, to fuse his consciousness to a Beyblade. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, you can parry it. After a few tries, we destroy the robot, hack it, and use it to vaporize this coward, getting our second seal and its corresponding achievement. This is when I go back and realize I can ring the bell. We could have fought Gomang this whole time. She too is a coward, hiding behind her zombie slaves instead of fighting, only coming out to revive them. But I have just the thing. Kwafu used Yen Lao's technology to invent the Thunderbuster. You don't need an explanation, just watch. We can blow her legs off. Like the good guy E is, he spares her life and returns her brainwashing necklace. Very humane. And that's another seal acquired. Then we get a call from Ji Quan. Jie. Let's call him Jimmy. Jimmy challenges us to an intimate duel. Back in the Four Seasons Pavilion, we acquire another tenant, the village alcoholic. His body is a machine that turns poisonous plants into booze, capable of increasing our max health. Then it's time to confront Jimmy. Well, our duel gets a little more intimate, if you can call it that, before Rui breaks us free. Our little EMS session has left E too weak for a prison break, so we stealth our way to the warden's office, who swarms us with guards. In response, we spam the Thunderbuster until the warden wants to kill himself, and that's something I can do. The prison experience aligns our chakras and unlocks the Unbounded counter, which can parry any attack in the game. While recovering from our adventure, Jimmy takes the liberty of imprisoning the villagers. We fight a powered-up Red Tiger Elite to save them, and earn the rifle title as their god. Then it's back to the factory for a rematch. Hey, he's pulling his cock out! To reach Jimmy, we must traverse his human transmutation rooms. Along the way, we find a special treasure, the Gene Eradicator. Then we stumble upon Jimmy in his transmutation crucible. We slip the Eradicator into his soup and release the beast. Our shenanigans have given Jimmy a debilitating illness, but even with the nerf, he gives us the legendary battle we were waiting for, with quick combos and heavy slashes. Halfway through, he pops a Sensu Bean and goes Super Saiyan. Truly a worthy opponent. After a few tries, I adapted to his quick attacks and put an end to his sinful ways. Alongside the 4th seal, we get 2 achievements, one for beating Jimmy and another for using the Gene Eradicator. The next soul is located at the beginning of the game. Oh yes, this is not suspicious at all. After entering a portal to the dream realm, we meet the dreamer, Lady Ethereal. Unsurprisingly, this dream isn't as utopian as it seems, and Lady Ethereal herself is a very sane individual. Surely, we should try to talk to her again. As a master of Shadow Clone Jutsu and her very own Spirit Bomb, she's truly an anime connoisseur. The 3 phases are quite excessive, but hey, I like getting triple teamed as much as the next guy. Defeating Lady Ethereal frees her from her eternal torment and gets our 5th seal. Then we have a flashback of E's first attempt at energy bending. Hey, at least this wasn't the first time. This memory aligns E's final chakra and unlocks the double jump. Then we run into our 6th target. Don't be fooled by his childlike veil. He's actually a several thousand-year-old being, masquerading as a toddler. He's a predator. The gimmick for this fight is you get to choose which attacks he'll use, ranging from healing you to a supermassive black hole. And this man has one of the most satisfying parrying sequences of all time. Perhaps because he's into child play, he's easy to kill, getting our 6th seal. Before getting the last seals, I wanted to do some side content. By gifting Xuan ancient Solarian trinkets, he has become a master of all trades. VR, music, combat, art. He has slowly upgraded our pavilion from a house to a home. His accomplishments include inventing a new kind of currency, Xuan coin. Buying it for 100 gold, we can sell it for over 2,000. He also makes some beautiful pottery, and with genetically modified fertilizer, he grows the world tree. All of these maximize our friendship and get us separate achievements. Then we find the tomb of the previous avatar. By passing 3 parrying challenges, we can activate the corresponding statues outside, then kill the tomb's guardian to open his ancient grave. Inside, we find some ancient treasure, the Rhizomatic Bomb. In the spirit realm, we confront our old master one last time before he ascends to the Great Tao. For one last quick achievement, we play some magic bells to open a hidden door. Then enter the final area, the Empyrean District. What was once a place for royalty is now overrun with mutants. Despite their immortality, they're really weak and easily avoided. Here we find the final map piece, given to us by a Shanghai 9000. These fishbowls are scattered across the game. Each time you find one, you have the option to pay them or take the map by force. If you choose to be merciful to all the Shanghai, Xuan repays your hospitality by decapitating them and fusing their consciousness into a fortune-telling machine. Back in the Empyrean District, we can fight the last mini-boss in the game, which is a very fun fight. By the grace of God, there is cheese. With some light platforming, you can hack a nearby mech and rock'em sock'em to victory, getting the Robo Fight and one-man army achievements. Our next seals are found in a pair, the Fang twins, notorious party animals. The brother seal is just sitting in the open, free for the taking. For the other, we gotta crash the Rager. The fight starts with the 1v1 against the mutant brother, who's slow and pathetic. His attacks are easy to parry and even easier to punish. But when you kill him, his sister pulls out the flute of astral projection, brings him back to life, and summons creatures from beyond this mortal realm. Keeping up with 2 enemies is always difficult, but I learned 2 important lessons. 1. Jades are a thing. The equivalent of Hollow Knight's charms, Jades provide unique buffs and synergies. I use mine to effectively give myself lifesteal. 2. The default arrow stuns enemies on impact, meaning if I'm ever overwhelmed, I can just not. In tandem, these revelations help me beat the boss with ease. The sister joins her brother in his final moments, and we get our 8th seal. 1 seal left. Before we get it, we can do some grinding. First, we consume all the alcohol on the map to max our health. This prompts the Solarian soldiers to raid the village once more. Defeating waves of basic enemies completes the challenge, saves the village, and leads to our AA buddy becoming their new leader. Then we do some light money farming to fully upgrade our bow and buy every jade in the game, setting up a secret boss fight with the shopkeeper. After finding the secret donor wall, we're ready for the end. Kwafu invents some technology that kills mutants, allowing us to return to the research center. What in the hell is that thing? Killing this monstrosity gets us to the max level, completing the skill tree. Then we reach the heart of it all, Yi Gong's facility, but it's strangely empty and her soul seal is just right there. This is totally safe. Wait a minute. It's a trap! She steals all of our soul seals and imprisons us in her mind palace. Xuan breaks us free, and this time, we get to have a prison break. More specifically, a raid. Who knew getting jumped in a hallway, with enemies bursting through windows, and a slow camera pan would be this fun? Before long, we're free, but not before searching Igong's research and discovering the truth of the universe. Cats, IRL cats, are just purified Solarians. Then we run into our Shanghai 9000, who declares he has found his childhood friend, who is now a mutant. Killing her gets us a secret achievement. Back at the pavilion, Kwafu presents us with a choice: save the 8 men or the Solarians. I make the obvious choice. In response, Kwafu bestows upon us the reworked rhizomatic bomb, capable of separating heaven and earth, my brother in Christ. We get Chuan Chuan and all of the other humans onto the only escape ship, with Kwafu as their pilot. Now it's time to get lost looking for the final boss. And thank God I did, because I found the shopkeeper in not ideal conditions. His dying request is to put his brother out of his misery. And this fight reminds me of someone, but I can't really put my finger on it. Fulfilling our mission unlocks the final secret achievement. Then we find the final boss room. Here we get the last piece of lore for the treasure hunter achievement. Turns out all of this was E's plan to cure the mutant disease, and that the mutants were created by Igong during human transmutation. It really is the unforgivable sin, which is why E was fighting her at the beginning of the game. With this Gen 5 Pokemon background, it's time for a rematch. Here's how I imagine them making this fight. Hey boss, how much swag do we give the final boss? Fuck it. This is truly a duel for the ages. You're either parrying, attacking, or dying, which makes it very difficult, but very fun. Especially in the second phase, every attack feels so grand, so epic. It took a solid hour to beat her. Third phase? No way. No fucking way, bro. What is that, bro? Yeah, this attack ruined me. It didn't matter how well I did in the first phases, it was just 3 more hours of misery and pain. But this was nothing 2 blueberry Eggo waffles couldn't fix. With the well-fed buff, I became dialed. Oh my goodness. Igong doesn't go out honorably. Instead, she spreads her infection to the primordial roots connecting the world. The only way to stop her is to use the rhizomatic arrow. After all this, I can say E is truly a real one. And that's the true ending, but we still have 2 achievements left. The first requires a new save so we can find Shanghai 9000 and murder it. The last requires us to get the normal ending. Thankfully, the game lets you replay the finale. We choose to save the Solarians and fight Igong again. But this time, there's no third phase. She dies peacefully, and E continues his experiments on humans, and that's 100% of 9 souls. I give this game a light 10 to a strong 10. I love parrying, but I've never loved parrying things more than this. On to the next offering. We travel to the wonderful world of Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Full disclosure, I've already played this game, meaning I already have 80% of the achievements, but those are the upgrade all your abilities, find the collectibles, you know, the boring shit. We still need to beat the game on hard mode, without upgrades, without charms, without touching corrupted water, in under 4 hours without dying, as well as beating a specific boss without getting hit and killing 3 enemies with a single attack. I'll be splitting these challenges into 2 runs, a hard mode run without upgrades or charms, and a deathless speed run with a perfect boss fight. We'll start with hard mode. We play as the spirit Ori, currently stranded in a distant land after getting lost in a storm with our owl friend, Ku. Our goal is to find her and return home. Step 1 is getting jumped by a giant dog. No worries, we just have to beat it with this trusty torch. Yes, I did just die to the tutorial boss. Twice. What about it? Moving past the tutorials, we awaken our spirit powers, obtaining the abilities to double jump, heal, shoot arrows, and summon an energy blade out of thin air. Now you see this corrupted water? We can't touch it for the whole game. We can get the achievement next run. The next boss has 1 attack and is extremely easy. Beyond it, we find the Bash ability, which can parry any attack whenever you want, without limit, and acts as a double jump. We use this to reach the marsh and meet Frog Boy, who tells us to purify the water in the old windmill. Using the grapple ability, we platform between spinning gears and clear any corruption in our way, until we're stopped by it. Every Dojin reader's worst nightmare. We escape through the collapsing windmill, allowing the purified water to flow. And somehow, we get the high and dry achievement even though I clearly touched the corruption. In the purified water, we can swim to the Silent Woods, where we quickly find Ku, right next to a forest fire she may or may not have started. Before we can fly home, we are rudely interrupted by the villain, Shriek. Ori gets knocked down a hole, and Ku gets obliterated. She's dead. Like, dead. Frog Boy decides that funerals are the best time for lore. Long ago, the Tree of Life died, splitting its light into 5 wisps. If we can collect all 5, we can revive the tree and coup. The first wisp is given to us, then we get to choose our own adventure. I started in the north at Bear's Reach, where everything is frozen solid, except these conveniently placed cauldrons, which we can use to light magic lamps and defrost the environment, allowing us to parkour between plant mouths, plant tongues, and plant saliva. Beautiful. Near the summit, we learn to firebend, which we can parry off of. Using this new tech, we ascend the peak and find our second wisp, but Shriek won't let us off the hook and causes an avalanche. After racing down the mountain, we escape her grasp once again and move to the Luma pools, where we swim through tropical waters and get to drown all of our enemies to our heart's content. Eventually, we find Frog Boy, who has our third wisp, but oh no, he has fallen victim to the tentacle tag. There's only one option. We have to put him down. But a problem arises. I do no damage. Doing no upgrades or charms on hard mode isn't exactly smart. So let's abandon this for now and go to the Moldwood depths. If you ever find yourself thinking, hey, the floor looks like a bunch of bugs, it is. Everything is. In the dark depths of this hellscape, you must cling to what little light you have, for without it, the darkness descends upon you. Until you find a glowing force field ability, which allows you to just walk up to the boss room, which holds the giant spider, Mora. This fight has a very familiar problem. The health bar is not moving. There's one last option, the Windswept Ruins, where we learn to sand dash, turning Ori into a ballistic missile. At the end is the Temple of the True Sun God, which we can't enter without the other wisps. Damn. Well, there is a workaround. We can't use charms or upgrades, but we can acquire new abilities. There are 2 secret trees that increase your damage by 25%. The first is hidden behind a set of wind chimes. Using our big musical brains, we solve the puzzle and get our first buff. The second tree requires us to deliver an ancient seed from the secret woods to Shaman over here, who uses his mythical Pokemon powers to grow a miniature god tree. And that's all the free abilities, meaning if this doesn't work, I'm fucked. Thankfully, it did work. We can firebend our old frog friend to a crisp. He Master Oogways on out of here and gives us our third wisp. Back in Spider Hell, things weren't as effective. I didn't do any damage, but nor did she, and I can always heal. It took 15 minutes of attrition to beat this boss. With the 4 wisps, the true sun god welcomes us with open arms. Inside, we find the sarcophagus of our final wisp. Combining all 5 creates the super wisp, and summons the Eater of Worlds. After an intense chase through the collapsing temple, we outrun its reaching chompers as its gluttony becomes its downfall. All we have to do now is revive the Tree of Life, which is full of bouncing betties and a mind-numbing amount of lasers. Oh shit. By completing difficult platforming challenges, we can clear the tree of its corruption. By destroying it all, we unlock the path to revive the tree. Only for it to tell us, it can't. It's dead. The only option is for Ori to fuse with the Wisp and become a new tree. But isn't there someone we forgot to ask? Shriek doesn't consent to this, so it's time for our final confrontation. Like the others, this boss fight is a slog. We both do no damage. Eventually she decides, fuck it, no more land, and the entire final phase is air stalling by parrying her projectiles back into her face until she dies. And that's the end. Ori merges with the spirit, revives Ku, and grows into a magnificent tree. That's lightless and shardless on hard mode. Before we do the deathless speedrun, I knock out the Spear 3 enemies at once achievement on my old save file. In case you were wondering what a fully powered up Ori looks like, it's this. On top of having a hammer, shuriken, and sentry turret. But the best ability is objectively the light spear. On to the deathless speedrun. We need to beat the game in under 4 hours without dying. So I start a new game on easy mode and play through the game like normal, fixing the windmill, letting Ku die, and getting the first 3 wisps. At the 2-hour mark, we run into Mora. This is the boss I need to beat without getting hit. Unfortunately, I wasn't strong enough, meaning I was bad. Then it hit me. I can buy upgrades now, so I got both tree buffs again, acquired the Reckless Charm for a 35% damage increase, and bought myself the fully upgraded Light Spear. Then I went back to Mora and blasted her ass. Oh! It killed me? Turns out standing right here at the start of her 3rd phase instantly kills you. Now I could reset the run, or I could use the conveniently placed backup save menu and pretend like it never happened. Don't call me a coward yet, I'm not done. Now you can. You know what they say, 3rd time's a charm. We get the 4th wisp and the achievement, all with 0 deaths. The rest of the run goes as planned. We get the spirit, cleanse the tree, and face Shriek. We kill her in 4 hits and skip her entire last phase with this off-screen snipe. And that's Ori and the Will of the Wisps, beaten in 3 hours and 4 minutes. 0 deaths. Our second offering is now complete. We can move on from the vibrant aesthetics of Ori to the gritty streets of Spain in Blasphemous 2. For the ritual, we need to get 3 separate endings, complete a DLC, gather an ungodly amount of collectibles, and do a 30-minute speedrun for a total of 55 achievements. Let's get to it. As the penitent one, we can wield 3 weapons: the pulverizing Veredicto, the balanced Blood Blade, and the electrified dual swords. I chose the latter, but we'll get all 3 eventually. Then we're confronted by Annunciata, who tells us that God herself is descending from the heavens to birth the child, and it's our duty to kill pretty much everyone and abort that shit. We're blessed with a skill tree, 2 spell slots, charms in the form of a rosary, and a statue altar. And by the grace of God, we can parry. We kill the tutorial boss for a quick achievement, then begin our quest. First, we hunt the 3 protectors of God's holy city. As we approach our first prey, I fell into a pit of spikes for our second achievement. Then we find Oraspina. She matches our dual swords with an electrified rapier of her own, but my superior parrying and button mashing prowess get the best of her. Our hunt leads us up to the Crown of Towers, where we can pick up the Blood Blade, allowing us to D-Dark through wooden walls blocking our path. Within the Belfry resides Lesmus and Infanta. The fight starts with Lesmus, a slow, fire-wielding chonker. Killing him causes a small child to pop out of his coffin. Of course, children are easy to kill. Then they decide to jump you, and I hate it so much. The brat runs away and spams projectiles while Lesmus chases you with his AoE. Like any smart warrior, I beat the child till it's dead, then it's the first phase all over again. On the way to the final protector, we get Veredicto, then we hit the boss room. Outside is Yerma, who offers her help in our next battle. Inside is Great Preceptor Radames, a certified glass muncher, but dodging his glass shards isn't much of a challenge. With Yerma's help, we put an end to his munching ways. Killing Radames lowers the holy city. Before entering, I took a detour and found a side boss that was just guarding the power of double jumps. This boss upgrades his sword from bronze to silver to gold like it's Stardew Valley. We kill him, get our achievement, and enter the dream world, where Sephiroth gives us our next quest, to release the 5 doves. We climb to the holy city, venturing through regal hallways and across rooftops, until this guy. At the end of the city, there's a combat arena. I got through the first waves easily, but this guy, I didn't even try to rematch him because I knew I was cooked. After a little exploring, we learn to walk on glass, allowing us to find an elevator that leads to the end of the holy city and skips this arena. With Sephiroth's help, we release the first dove, which causes this to happen. I can't tell you why. We trek on over there and enter a haunted tower, but are halted by these pesky chains. So we leave out the back door, which leads directly to the air dash ability, which can go through chains. So we can climb further up the tower and reach Benedicta, a glorified waiting simulator. If only I could hit her from range. Oh, that's why they give you spells. With that, we free our second dove and raise the lost city of Atlantis. Finally, after 15 years, I'll be able to find the indigenous baddie of my childhood fantasies.
It should have been me, not him!
Imagine my disappointment when the boss of this area wasn't a blonde German dom with her tank top hanging off her shoulder. Instead, it's a coward who summons minions instead of fighting like a real man. What it could have been. Forget about this guy. After freeing the third dove, we are pointed to Wan Shi Tong's library, which holds the power to summon these cute little guys. And there's some freaky ass NPC. Who thought of this? Anyways, this area's boss is more akin to Ko the Face Stealer than Wan Shi Tong. Ko uses fire attacks that are deceptively easy to dodge, and after equipping every fire resistance charm, they do no damage. Bada bing bada boom, we have our fourth dove, which reveals the magical Twin Moon City, where we shift between reality and the mirror dimension. Since we're near the end, I took the liberty of using my new abilities to explore every nook and cranny of the map. On my journey, I found every health upgrade, hidden nun, and collectible baby. That's right, the main collectible in this game is 33 flying children. I even got an achievement for collecting every item in New Game Plus, which I didn't do, but I'll take it. Then I did the Mother of Morning's questline, who requires us to find her 5 dying sisters and snuff out their life force, then enter her dream realm to complete corresponding battle challenges, making them kill themselves, but it gets us an achievement. Now I can move on to Sivsana, a lightning-based boss. Much like the previous boss, we can nullify her damage with our charms, and with some help from Yerma, we're able to defeat her and free the final dove, revealing the beating heart of God. We make our ascent through the bloody rain until we reach the church of the final boss, Evaterno, the first of the penitents. The first phase is really easy. I did it almost hitless on my first attempt. The second phase isn't as simple. This old geezer taps into the speed force and moves with the agility of a cracked out spider monkey. I died time after time until the most beautiful thing happened. As if God herself blessed me, I didn't have a hurt box. As a last-ditch effort, he summons the spirit of every previous boss to attack me, and I had to do nothing. That's rough, buddy. Not only do I get his achievement, but I also get one for beating a boss without taking damage. Skewering Everturno pierces the heart, causing it to give birth. Our immediate reaction is to go up there and perform a post-birth abortion. This fight is not difficult. After a few short minutes, we send this baby back to God. But in some twist of fate, he takes us with him, and that's the first ending. Before the DLC, we got 100% the save file, which includes finding these 10 hidden symbols across the map. There's no way anyone found these legit. Then we have to collect every single item, all 119. At the end of it all, I had acquired all of these achievements. And shout out to these guys for their wonderful guides. I'll link them in the description if you need them. To set up the alternate endings, we need to equip 4 special statues in their corresponding altar, which opens a hidden room where we find the incense of envoys. Then, it's DLC time. Our first objective is to enter the icy mausoleum and free a special prisoner. Along the way, we encounter another convict, who's not having a great day. Actually, he insists that we drop the guillotine, so we find 3 levers to raise it as high as possible before lopping his head off. Before breaking the guillotine to save him. Yeah, I save scummed this. Look, these are the only missable achievements, and I'm not replaying the whole game for this random NPC. Then we find our mud prisoner, who begins a long pilgrimage. We follow her every step of the way until she gives us the key to her final resting place, all while getting cutscenes of some dude just aura farming in random locations. The key's home is guarded by Miss Silencio, who is invulnerable due to her magic amulet. We slowly chip away at it while dodging her magic defense system until it cracks open and we can do some real damage. A few cycles of this and we can put her down. In the hidden chamber, our muddy friend invites us to the abyss. We're expected there. Expected by who? The one and only Chrysanta. If you didn't play the first game, she's the GOAT. She helps you kill the creators of God. Chrysanta gives us the hilt of our legendary blade from Blasphemous 1. So, we lost the hilt. After a quick revive from our floating baby friends, we track our assailant to a hidden church and engage in mortal combat. His heavy strikes are met with our amazing parries. When he can't win with swordsmanship or honor, he resorts to the coward's tactic, magic. But whenever he decides to be a man, he gets cooked. The Prophet Lady sacrifices herself to fully form our glorious Mea Culpa. With the power and abilities of the Bloodblade and a hint of the dual sword speed, it's perfect. We can even teleport by shooting its ranged attack through fiery thorns, which we use to traverse the final area and confront none other than a revived aura farmer, who not only continues his cowardly tactics, but has expanded upon them with lightning, magic swords, beams from God, and worst of all, this sound haunts my nightmares. Instead of focusing on this goober, let's talk about something fun. Probably my favorite part of the game, the Marks of the Preceptor. 14 unique platforming challenges spread across the map, forcing you to use every movement mechanic with decent skill. Each rewards you with a mark, used to level the Mea Culpa. With all 14, we get an achievement. Now before facing Satan incarnate, we should talk about statue synergies. When certain statues are placed next to each other, you get a hidden buff. We care about 2. One freezes time when you use a flask, and the other full heals you on death. Needless to say, fuck this guy. Behind Lucifer is a room with 3 statues of the Penitent One. Returning to where we first found our weapons, we fight our clones, but they're literal bots and have 2 moves. After killing all 3, we receive the prayer of the Penitent One. We find one last treasure for a final achievement, then equip the new prayer, give the incense of envoys, and kill the same final boss, but with the Mea Culpa, unlocking the DLC ending, where Chrysanta performs the operation for us, and her body is brought to the heavens, while the Penitent One vanishes into the sunset. We still have the true ending, but I wanted it to be the end of my playthrough, so I made a new save and got to work on the speedrun achievement, where we have to enter the Stardew Valley boss room in under 30 minutes. It's not that difficult. Here's the route. Spawn in and choose the Bloodblade, then rush to the city and rest here, but nowhere else. Jump into the sewers for the wall climb ability, sprint to the manor and find the dual swords. Kill yourself. Respawn in the city, then run up to the mountaintops and get the hammer. Kill yourself. Then sprint down to the boss room. Bam! It took me 29 minutes, but I took a few wrong turns and got trapped in an arena. Then, we reload our main save, give the incense of the envoys, and kill the baby one last time. This time the child dies for real, and the Penitent One ascends to heaven, as his penitence is over. That's 100% of Blasphemous 2, and with it, our ritual is complete. Please, gaming gods, take my offering. Give us Silksong. What more shall we do? Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you couldn't tell, I recorded this video 4 months ago, but never finished it. I guess the ritual kinda worked, but no one got to see. Anyways, I hope you have a great day, enjoy Silksong, I'll be grinding right alongside you.